Hey there guys, Portal Master here, and in today's video we are going to be talking about how there is apparently not a Switch successor planned. This is interesting news. We're going to talk about that. Additionally, it was announced yesterday that there are no planned price cuts for the Nintendo Switch. So this is a very interesting news, and it goes actually counter to a lot of the rumors that have been circulating about upcoming Nintendo Switches. Of course, since effectively when the Switch launched, there have been a ton of rumors about what a potential Switch successor could look like, as well as mid-cycle refreshes like a mini Nintendo Switch or a giant Nintendo Switch or a Switch that's the same size but has more stuff in it. There have been a lot of rumors about these things, and to just have Nintendo come out right there and say, nope, not happening, you're not getting a Switch successor anytime soon, and there's also no planned price cuts for the Nintendo Switch. That's interesting news and has some implications. But I'm going to be honest with you guys, I actually don't buy this report at all. I know that this report comes straight from the mouth of Nintendo, but this would not be the first time that Nintendo has said something that ended up not being true. They want to sell 20 million of these things by the end of the fiscal year. Why on earth would you announce a successor to something when you're trying to sell a crap ton of it? It's pretty much a well-documented fact that when you announce something bigger and better is coming later on, people are probably going to be less likely to buy the current product. For instance, look at iPhones. For instance, in order to actually sell older iPhones, they can't just keep selling them at the same price. They have to drop the price whenever they announce the new one. It's how it works with anything. As soon as you announce the new product, sales of the old product is going to drop off unless you decrease the price. And seeing as how they probably don't really want to decrease the price for the Switch, there's absolutely no reason for them to actually go ahead and confirm that there is a successor on the way. Again, especially if they want to sell 20 million Switches. Be honest, if you were in the market for a Nintendo Switch and it was announced that there was a bigger and better version coming in just a few months, would you be very likely to drop $300 on the current Switch right now as opposed to just waiting a few months for the bigger, better product? No, you wouldn't. So if Nintendo really does want to sell this many new products, they're absolutely not going to come out and confirm a successor to the Switch. But there's a reason that there's going to have to be some kind of successor, and that's what I wanted to talk about specifically in this video. So you're probably aware that the Switch is not as powerful as other current generation consoles. It's just not. In terms of sheer raw processing power, it cannot compete with things like the PS4 or the Xbox One, and especially not PlayStation Pro and Xbox One X. There's absolutely no way that it can compete. The Switch is struggling to sort of stay relevant in this sort of power level of systems that you have. You know, they're very different things, and odds are if you own a Switch, you probably own one of these other consoles, especially if you're a heavier gamer like me that enjoys, you know, a wide variety of different games. Nintendo Switch just does not have the power to provide you with that level of variety unless you just are absolutely adore first-party Nintendo games. It just can't do that. But here's the main reason that the Switch is struggling as of right now in terms of power level. It's not struggling as a console. I want to reiterate that. The Nintendo Switch is actually doing exceedingly well. It sold a crap ton of systems over Black Friday. But again, here's the thing. The Switch cannot handle most direct ports from current generation consoles. What I mean by this is that although it can handle certain third-party games that have recently been released on the newer systems, for instance things like Wolfenstein or Doom, there are also a lot of games that it just straight up cannot handle. Even games that are cross-platform. I'm going to throw out some, you know, exclusive titles, but these would never be able to run on the Switch. For instance, God of War. That could literally never run on the Switch. The newest version could not run on the Switch. Even older games like GTA 5 are kind of iffy on the Switch just because of the amount of power that it would take to run something like that. Another good example, The Witcher. It could never run Witcher 3, but it was able to run Skyrim, you might say. But remember, Skyrim was actually a 2011 title. It came out on last-gen consoles. See, the Switch can compete in terms of power levels with these older consoles like the PS3 and the Xbox 360. It can compete with those, but in terms of current generation consoles, power level wise, it can absolutely not. Nintendo is going to end up in a very interesting situation sooner or later, in that people that want to, developers that want to actually port games to the Switch are simply not going to be able to because of power limitations. And this especially is going to become relevant once we move into next generation consoles. While the Switch can still handle some ports from current gen consoles, once we get into PlayStation 5 and whatever the Xbox successor is, there's absolutely no way Nintendo Switch will be able to handle that. Just no way whatsoever. So Nintendo is going to end up in this situation where a lot of the games that developers might even want to port over to the Switch, they're not going to be able to because of the power limitation. And so it won't matter if developers are gung-ho about porting over to a massively successful console, you're still going to end up with a Wii U situation where you have a lot of great first-party Nintendo games on a not bad system, but no one else is putting games on there, and that kind of cripples the system. See, that's my main concern if Nintendo does not do some form of mid-cycle refresh for the Switch. I'm not saying there needs to be a full-blown successor console anytime soon. As a matter of fact, I don't even expect that to happen anytime soon. I mean, Nintendo's already stated there's going to be a longer cycle in between this console and the next than what would typically be seen. So I don't expect a full-blown Switch successor, but they're going to have to do something to ramp up the power for more hardcore gamers, or else they're just going to lose out on a massive market share once games that exclusively run on, PlayStation 5 and Xbox, whatever, come out and they can't be ported. They cannot be ported to the Switch. To some people, maybe this isn't a problem. Maybe you don't care about third-party games, but part of the reason that the Switch is so successful is because of the promise of third-party games. See, that is one of the biggest things that has crippled the Wii U's sales. It could not move anything for third-party games, and it wasn't even powerful enough to really run anything that was out that was even relevant. The same thing with the Wii. The Wii still sold well, but that was an anomaly. There will never be another Wii. The Switch, no matter how successful, will never be another Wii. The fact of the matter is, Nintendo is getting to the point where if they don't do something, they will end up getting backed into a corner in terms of these third-party titles. Maybe it's not a problem now, but it's something I absolutely guarantee you it will if they don't do some kind of successor. But see, Nintendo's not stupid. They know everything that I just said. They have thousands of people that are literally dedicated, maybe not thousands, they have hundreds of people, there you go, that are dedicated to figuring all this stuff out. They're not going to let something like this happen, which is why I do genuinely think that when they say, we have no Switch successor plan, they mean no successor console, or they're just flat out lying and they actually do have some type of a follow-up Switch Pro or whatever the heck you want to call it planned. Maybe it won't be a 2019 release, but at some point it's going to happen, and I'm willing to bet that at this point we'll probably be seeing that before the Metroid game comes out. Metroid is probably not coming out until 2020 something, or 20, yeah, I don't know when it's coming out, but I guarantee you some form of a Switch follow-up will have come out before that even occurs, and so it'll be interesting to follow these rumors despite Nintendo flat out saying we have no successor. So this is just a theory, this is just some speculation, but it's something that I think is grounded in some real life information, and I'll be interested to see how it pans out. Anyways, that is all I have for you guys today. This has been Portal Master. Leave your comments down below about what you think about all this stuff. Am I just spouting off nonsense, or do you agree that there pretty much has to be some kind of Switch successor just because of the environment that we live in with the gaming? So tell me all that down in the comments. That is all for now. This has been Portal Master. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and shout out to all my patrons on Patreon, especially Cosmic Dragon Gaming, Nacho S, and Portal Power TV. See you guys next time.